Welcome, Discerning Minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a concept that's really shaking things up, not just in tech circles, but fundamentally changing how we think about progress, about access, about power itself. We're talking artificial intelligence, but maybe not in the way you usually hear about it. Not just algorithms or like amazing computer tricks. We're going to unpack AI as this fundamental tool, one that could really redefine who benefits, who gets ahead, and who might get left behind. Our main source for this deep dive is a really fascinating piece called AI, the Ladder of Power. And it gives us this powerful metaphor. It kind of cuts through all the noise, the hype, the fear, and gets right to the big question. What does AI really mean for society? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for you? So our mission today is to try and understand AI, not just as tech, but as this potential lever, right? It could lift whole communities up, open new doors, or it could actually lock things down even more, make inequalities worse. It feels like a really critical perspective to have right now, especially as everything's changing so fast. The lines between the tech promise and, well, the real world impact are getting pretty blurry.
Yeah, what's so compelling about this ladder of power piece right from the start is how it jumps past just talking about what AI can do. It goes straight into the deep societal stuff, the implications. It really challenges you, us, everyone, to look beyond the shiny new thing and think about, well, the context. How is it actually being used? The author frames it brilliantly. Instead of just asking, what can AI do? The real question becomes, what will AI do? And crucially, for whom? That's the core thing we're exploring today, isn't it? It's fundamentally about access. Who gets to use this incredible power? Who reaps the rewards? And, how will that shape things for all of us down the line? It's a discussion that honestly touches everything, every industry, every community, you, me, everyone.
Absolutely. And that question, for whom, leads us right into the main metaphor the source uses, AI, the ladder of power. It kicks off with this really striking line. AI is a ladder, but who holds it steady? Such a potent image, isn't it? You instantly picture climbing, reaching higher, getting somewhere new, but then that second part just bam, hits you with the catch. It's not just that the ladder exists, it's about whether it's stable, where it's pointing. And like you said, who is controlling it at the bottom? It puts the focus straight onto the human element, doesn't it? The stakes. It's way beyond just the code.
It really is. And if you connect that ladder image to, the bigger story of technology, a ladder always means going up, right? Reaching new heights, seeing things differently, gaining new skills, maybe even influence. But any climber knows you need a solid base. You need someone holding it steady. Otherwise, that promise of going higher, it just becomes a risk. You could fall. So asking who holds it steady isn't just a clever phrase. It immediately brings power dynamics into the frame. It forces us to look at the often hidden structures, the control, the governance, the decisions that dictate how powerful tech like AI gets built, gets rolled out, and ultimately how it's used. It becomes less about the rungs on the ladder and much more about the ground beneath it. And yeah, the intentions of the people holding it.
Intentions.
Yeah.
That's key. What happens when the people holding it actually want to lift everyone up?
Oh.
And the ladder of power does a great job showing that positive side first. The source says, and I find this really hopeful, in some hands, it lifts voices higher, opening doors once bolted shut. It's not just wishful thinking. It points to a real transformative possibility. Just think about that for a second. What could that actually look like? For you, maybe, or for groups who've historically been shut out. How could AI genuinely empower people, not just, give them more data?
This is exactly where AI could be that game changer, that true equalizer we sometimes hear about. When the source talks about lifting voices higher, you can imagine, say, AI breaking down language barriers. Suddenly, researchers anywhere can access global knowledge, artists can collaborate, or think about tools for creation. AI could give someone with limited resources the ability to generate amazing visuals or compose complex music, maybe even create animations, things that used to cost a fortune or require elite skills. It dramatically lowers the barrier to entry for so many creative and intellectual fields. It's about democratization, really, and that phrase, opening doors once bolted shut. That speaks to opportunity on a huge scale, maybe even bigger than the early internet promise. Take education. Imagine personalized AI tutors adapting to exactly how you learn best, delivering top-tier teaching anywhere to anyone. That could dismantle huge barriers, right? Geographic, economic, or professional skills. AI platforms could train people in complex areas like data science, coding, maybe even aspects of medicine or engineering, skills that were previously locked up in expensive institutions. For small businesses, too, AI could give them the kind of sophisticated analytics, market insights, or customer service automation that only huge corporations used to have. The potential to bridge gaps, to spark innovation in unexpected corners, it's massive. But, and this is the big but we need to keep coming back to, this whole positive vision depends entirely on how these tools are designed, and, crucially, how widely available they are.
That vision, AI is the great equalizer. It's incredibly appealing, almost utopian, you might say. But the source pulls us back to reality pretty quickly. It cautions that, well, for every potential step up, there's a risk of sliding down. It reminds us there's a flip side, a much tougher reality we have to face. The text suggests in others it tilts the floor, favoring the few who already stand tall. That's the stark contrast, isn't it? The fear that AI won't just fail to fix inequality, but could actually make it worse, could deepen the divides we already have. It's a pretty serious warning, one we definitely need to pay attention to.
That phrase, tilting the floor, it's so vivid because it suggests the whole ground is shifting under our feet. It's not just that some people are climbing faster, it means the very foundation is becoming uneven. It makes it fundamentally harder, maybe even impossible, for some people to even start climbing. Imagine trying to walk uphill on a slanted surface while others are coasting downhill. That's the kind of dynamic it implies. Constantly fighting just to stay put, let alone make progress. And this connects directly to favoring the few who already stand tall. Think about those with existing advantages: massive wealth, political clout, or, critically, early access to the most powerful AI. They can use these tools to cement their position, expand it even. They might use AI for, say, super advanced market analysis no one else can match, or hyper efficient automation that undercuts competitors, or predictive tech that lets them corner the next big thing. It creates this feedback loop, you see. Power gets you access to better AI, which generates more power, which limits access for others. We're already seeing hints of this with things like data moats, where companies with huge, unique data sets can build AI models that startups just can't compete with. That's how AI could lead to a sharper divide. Not just failing to close gaps, but actively creating new kinds of exclusion, digital, economic, social. It's a real risk.
That is a sobering thought, especially given how fast this stuff is moving. Which brings us to something really important. A key distinction the source makes: AI, the ladder of power. We need to focus on this. It says the code itself may be neutral, but the keys are not. Okay, so what does that actually mean for us? What's the real difference between the code and the keys here? And why is that distinction so critical for understanding AI's impact?
Yeah, this distinction is absolutely vital. It helps us get past seeing technology as just, inherently good or bad. When the source mentions the code itself, it's talking about the algorithms, the math, the data processing logic, the basic mechanics that make AI work. And maybe in a purely abstract, theoretical way, you could call those neutral. Like sorting algorithm to sorts, a neural network finds patterns, they just execute their programming. They don't have their own bias or intent, right? But the keys, that's completely different. The keys are the control switches, the access points, the rules, the governance, the funding decisions, and, most importantly, the human choices that decide. How is that neutral code actually used? Who gets to use it? And for what purpose? Think of it like a really powerful car engine. The engine itself is just metal and engineering neutral, maybe, but the keys to the car, who gets to drive? Where do they drive it? Whose trick matters most? Those decisions are absolutely not neutral. And this opens up all these fundamental questions, right? About ownership, ethics, priorities. Who gets to design these systems in the first place? Who chooses and labels the massive data sets they learn from? Because those data sets are often full of existing societal biases, which the AI can then amplify. Who controls the huge server farms needed to run this stuff? And maybe the biggest one: who decides which problems AI gets aimed at? Whose challenges get solved and whose get ignored? The source puts it very directly. Power decides who climbs and who waits at the bottom. It's not about the tech being inherently good or evil. It's about us, our choices, our power structures, and the real impact those have on who wins and who loses with AI. It shifts the focus, the responsibility, away from the silicon and squarely onto us, the creators, the deployers, the users. We hold the keys.
That makes perfect sense. The tool is just a tool. But who wields it, how they set it up, the intentions behind its use, that's everything. It explains why, even as AI gets incredibly powerful, its benefits can feel, well, far away or unevenly spread. Which brings us neatly to the core takeaway, the drop of meaning from AI, the ladder of power. It sums it all up perfectly. Quote, AI can be a great equalizer or a sharper divide. Its promise shines only when access isn't locked by the powerful few. Wow, that just nails the central tension, doesn't it? The absolute importance of broad, fair access if we want AI to actually deliver on its positive potential.
Absolutely. That single sentence cuts right to the heart of it. The tech itself, it's just potential energy, really. It's real world effect, whether it lifts people up or pushes them down, that's shaped entirely by its design, its distribution, and critically, its control. So if AI systems are designed inclusively, right, built to serve diverse needs, trying hard to minimize bias, and then if they're distributed widely, maybe through open source or public initiatives, and finally, if they're governed in a way that prioritizes the common good over just, profit or narrow interests, then that equalizer promise can actually become real. But if those things don't happen, if design is rushed, if access is limited, if control stays concentrated, then yeah, AI almost inevitably becomes another tool to make the rich richer and the powerful more powerful. For you listening, this means looking past the surface. Think about access in your own world, at work. Who gets the cool AI tools? How are they changing decisions? In your community, how might AI affect public services? Who could be left out? Even your own data, who's analyzing it with AI and why? Just recognizing these dynamics, these calls of access and control, that's the crucial first step. It's how we can start pushing for a future where AI's ladder is genuinely there for everyone.
Wow, what an incredibly useful way to frame all this. We started with that really strong image from AI, the ladder of power. AI is a ladder, but who holds it steady? And I feel like we've really unpacked that. We've seen how this technology stands at a genuine crossroads. The potential is just massive, isn't it? To lift voices, open doors, empower people in ways we're probably only just starting to grasp. But we've also had to confront that very real risk that it could tilt the floor, favor those already ahead, and make those divides even sharper. And the key thing, as we've really dug into, isn't the code itself. That might be neutral. It's the keys, the human choices, the rules, the power plays that decide who gets access and how it's used. Those are anything but neutral. It's complex for sure. But so important for all of us to get our heads around as we navigate this AI revolution. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into what might be one of the most defining issues of our time.
Definitely. And maybe this leaves you, our listener, with a question to take away, something to think about as AI keeps weaving itself into our lives. Where do you actually see AI's ladder being built right now? In your job, in your community, online? Is it genuinely creating more opportunity? Or does it sometimes feel like it's reinforcing the old structures, the existing power? And maybe the most important part, what role could you play? How can you help ensure that ladder is held steady, that it's truly accessible for everyone, not just the select few? Thinking about these power dynamics and our own part in them, that feels essential if we want to shape an AI future that truly serves all of humanity.